a sample tape. Man, one of my favorite things about traveling with the greats is their history and wisdom. They've been in the game for a very, very long time. And any artist that's still performing to this day that was out in the 70s or 80s and early 90s is that it takes a certain level of longevity. And if they can pass that wisdom down, that's been paramount in my career for my success. One of the things that Miss Baker always says is that invest in things that will give you a return. You know, so she said one of the things that she chose to do was not invest in a glam squad or, you know, some type of modeling thing. You know, she's not a model. So she obviously cares how she looks on stage. I think she was beautiful. But she said she chose to invest in sound and a band because those are the things that will keep you going. So singing for 30 plus years and your voice to still sound like the record, I think that says a great testament about investing in yourself. Okay, yeah, we can do that now. How important is it to know your equipment? That's paramount. I would say, you know, when we're creating music, it's the same as a doctor, you know, who doesn't know which tools he needs for a certain procedure to be done. So while certain things may be universal, like drumsticks, even drums to a certain extent are universal. However, certain things that kind of shape your tone, like the style of drum sound that you have can be coated drum heads. You can have clear drum heads. You can have 1-ply, 2-ply. You can have a hydraulic cut drum head. So it's just important to know what tools you need, you know, because the last thing you want to do is show up for an event or a gig or something like that, and they need you to use a hammer, but all you have is a screwdriver. So it's important to know your gear, how you can get certain sounds, some different textures from your gear. So knowing your gear is paramount. So we'll start off with the regular rim, with the regular snares, and then we'll move to side state. Rolling.
Now, what's the significance of using the t-shirts?
The t-shirts just dampen the sound, dries it out, makes it a little more on the, I like to call it the vintage dryness, like a 70s sound. You know, it's more muted. So, you ready, Smile? Side stick. Closed. Okay, we'll do some closed hats. Let it ring. Okay. So we'll do some closed ones, then we'll open up, let it ring for a little bit. Rolling. So just as a practice, right? You want this, like while it's already open, or you want it with a sizzle, like. Yeah, one of the most important things with working with Soul Surplus is making sure the textures are right, you know, because they make so many different sample packs. So one set of drums might be good for one sample pack, but then maybe you have to change up even sometimes the tonality of your drums. So maybe you have to detune a snare or, you know, tune some toms up a little bit higher to kind of mesh with whatever the sample is, you know, because when you go back and listen to some old records back in the day, and then you hear how people sample those now, for Soul Surplus to be able to take those same sounds and recreate not just the older stuff, but new age samples, you know, is phenomenal, but it takes attention to detail and finding out ways that you can kind of tweak your instrument to do things that you may not normally do on a certain gig or something like that, or a certain recording session. When you come to Soul Surplus, there's a lot of freedom and flexibility to kind of help shape the sound.